Good evening, guys. Welcome to Beauty and Gratitude. This is episode 3, and I have a really fun show for you. We're talking about designing your best life with architects, interior designers, builders, restaurateurs, motorcyclists. So They're going to share all of their wonderful creative skills and experience. We have Arielle Johnson from Arielle Fox Designs. We have Erica Winters Designs with Luis Herrera, who's also her husband and partner, business partner. So there's a lot to cover today, but my main objective is so that you'll be inspired. Before I jump into the interview, I just wanted to let you guys know that we're giving away goodies every single show, at least one or two items. So the first one is, let me take it for you. Bam! It's a canvas beauty and gratitude bag. So at the end of the show, whoever writes in first, I will send you a bag. It's hefty. You can use it for, for supermarket or to take laundry down, whatever you want. I love a sturdy canvas bag, so I wanted something with my logo on it and something that I could extend to you. So for the next 6 weeks, every show will offer a beauty and gratitude bag. So whoever comes first will win. The good news is on August 28th, we have a fashion episode right before September, what Fashion Week would be, but now it's going to be virtual for many, for many designers. But we're offering a Temp 2 Air. Temp 2 Air is one of my favorite airbrush machines. It gives you a flawless finish, and they were so nice to gift me one with a pod. So whoever, wins on August 28th, you get a beautiful Temp 2 Air. And I want to thank Temp 2 for giving us this to give away to one of you. And until then, I want to talk about our next guest, Arielle Johnson. She is young, in charge, a mother, a wife, a businesswoman, a designer. She has taken LA by storm. I've been to many of her buildings that she's done the interiors for around LA, downtown LA, along the coast. And I must say they're beautiful. And this is long before I knew that she was the design company that took care of this. So I just want to say I'm so happy to have her here. We're going to get tips from her. We're going to talk about her career, where she went to school, being a woman in the business, and so many other things. So welcome, Arielle Johnson, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, D'Angelo. You're so sweet. I need one of those airbrush machines, by the way.
I'll get you one. Just tell me when your birthday is. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
This is amazing.
It's, full disclosure, everyone, Arielle is married to a dear friend of mine, and I have not met her. I've seen her virtually. I've seen her on social media, but she's married to a dear friend of mine. But also, I've looked at her stuff online. I've looked at her website for a while now, and places that I'd gone through, Arielle, throughout LA, I had no idea that you had designed them. I think one building, Atelier, am I correct? I almost moved into that building when I first moved here. And I love the aesthetic. So talk about your aesthetic as an interior designer.
It's a good question. And it's something that has just evolved, over the years. I'm blessed to have a beautiful office. We've got 16 designers.
Amazing. I love that. Yes.
We're hanging in there.
Yes.
But, it's really, I purposefully kind of curated this team with this idea of, female power, number one, of support, and number two, of this like international, global view.
Yes.
We have a lot of international designers, a lot of people from all over the country even. And so I wanted to have a lot of different perspectives. Every one of the projects is different from the last one. Okay. So you can't really kind of pin necessarily a look on us. Okay. I'm kind of outrunning like the expectation. But I will say, we always deliver a certain level of sophistication and luxury to all projects. Yeah. So people will say, oh yeah, I could tell that was an Arielle Fox. Like I walked in there and I just knew it. But it's something kind of, it's a feeling, it's not necessarily like, oh, we're, eclectic contemporary or something that you could kind of put in a box in that way.
Right. And you started your business in 2008, correct?
I did. Yeah. Yeah. A great time to start a business.
Right.
Kind of
Actually, that's
right?
interesting. I actually think it is a great time to start a business
Yeah.
when we're in crisis, financial crisis or COVID crisis. I think it's the perfect time to be creative and start projects. So you dove in.
Yeah, I did. And I've been doing a lot of kind of self-analysis about that, right? Like
Mhm.
that, what did I learn from
Right.
going through that financial crash? I'm from New York,
Yes.
and I watched both of the planes hit the World Trade Towers. I was living
Yeah.
downtown. So
Same
I've
here.
kind of gone through like some, as we all have, right? We've gone through
Mhm.
these milestones of tragedy in our lives, and we can say, oh, yeah, we've learned something from it. But am I actually acting on that knowledge and that wisdom? I don't
Right.
know necessarily that I am. In 2008, I
Hmm.
knew in a very solid way that
Hmm.
I could be successful because I had a low overhead. It was just me. It was
Right.
bootstrapping, it was hustling, it was making it
Right.
work. And now here I am in 2020, and I have a huge overhead. I have a huge payroll. I have a huge,
Yes.
responsibility. And I'm like, I don't think I learned very much from my 2008 experience because
Hmm.
I didn't do like the executive thing and lay everyone off.
Right.
I hung
You
on.
care. You
I
care.
care.
Yeah.
And I have this mantra of like compassion, of awareness, and love,
Yeah.
and that will bring me success. I
Yeah.
know that no matter what, that if I lead with those three things,
Yes.
somehow it always ends up working out. Like the universe just like opens
True.
up.
That's true. I've known a few, I actually know a lot of architects, and a lot of them, they did not lay off their staff. They may have cut their hours down to maybe 30 or 25 hours, but they kept their staff, and I think it's
Hours on.
really says a lot. It says a lot about them. I think they're thinking about not just the bottom line, but about their families and their employees, which I think is important.
Yeah.
Um, and I believe we'll all get through it. And I think this is a time. I love Unboxing Flatly. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I love the new show on YouTube because creativity came out of it. So 2020, Unboxing Flatly came alive. And
Yeah.
tell us about it.
It's a really great project because I get to do it with my husband.
Yes.
Brandon Johnson is an actor and host, and I looked at him one day and I was like, well, I am going to exploit you. We've got some time on our hands, so
Right.
let's just make something together. And it's been so beautiful.
It is. It
And I
is.
can't wait to hear from your guests after me, because
Mhm.
there is something magical that happens when you are working with someone that you have devoted your life to, that you love
Yes.
and know inside and out, and unconditionally. And it can be scary, and you can kind of show your ugly side in that moment. But
Right.
being like, just seeing him in his element and just
Hmm.
being in awe of him again has been
Hmm.
so lovely.
Yeah.
The YouTube video, or channel rather, was kind of birthed out of a need for us internally in the firm. It's
Okay.
been difficult to see finishes and materials, so
Right.
we've been sharing videos with each other. And
Hmm.
then because we're still working remotely.
Right. Wow.
Imagine 16 people like all over the
Yeah.
planet. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
challenging.
I would love to be in a studio, but I'm here at home, and that's fine.
And from being a creative person, that there is
Mhm.
something that just comes forth, from being with
Yes.
another creative person, that one-on-one like energy build. You can't do it on Zoom. You can't do it remotely. So
Right.
being able to do that with Brandon, even though, he's not a professional interior designer, he's done a
Mhm.
lot of HGTV and he's a very
Right.
creative guy. I am just having the time of my life
Right.
just creating with him, and we've gotten some really great responses. The
Oh,
vendor
yeah.
over the moon. So I think that there's a good lifespan for it. I'm really excited to see where
It
it goes.
is. I think it's going to, you're probably gonna have to hire another team for it because
it's a lot of work already. It's true.
I haven't seen it. And I worked for HGTV, Food Network, all those networks for years. I haven't seen anything like it because it not only talks to the professional, it also talks to the consumer. You know, someone like me, I'm like, oh, I never thought to use those textures together. You know, I noticed a lot of it is synthetic and a lot of it's natural materials and marrying them together, which is amazing. So I guess I was paying attention. You know, one thing I wanted to ask you, what would, for a novice, I'm not an interior designer, you kind of see my home behind me. I love color. What advice would you give someone like me to like give a splash of life into our homes or apartments or lofts or?
Yeah, I mean, that is actually a really great question because a lot of people in LA are living in apartments or lofts, right? You have a smaller space that you really want to, maximize what you
Right.
have. And I'm a very bold person, and I think you are too.
Yes.
So I really push those people that I know that have the capacity for exploration. There's a lot of people who are a little bit timid, and that's okay too. You can kind of slowly step into it, but I don't experience you as a timid person in that way at all. I say,
no, I love art. I love art.
That like yellow bookshelf in the background. I love it. Art is another exceptional way.
Yellow dining chairs.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm a big lighting geek. Unfortunately, the lighting on me right now is not the most ideal, but lighting a room is everything. It's so important, and it makes the color just vibrate even better. So that's something also to pay attention to if you have some.
Okay, that's what I need help with. That's funny you would say that. That's exactly what I need help with, is the lighting, because if I don't have these ring lights on, it's pretty dark at night. It's like mood lighting, and I like a little bit of little accents because it's a pretty big apartment, but I like little areas that are brighter than others. I don't like it so dim.
Well, you think of the theater, right? Like you want to you want to highlight and spotlight certain areas. So if you think about that in your space, you could just spotlight that piece of art, spotlight that piece of furniture, and just make it look super dramatic in that way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. And another question, as a woman in the business, have you come across negative experiences that may have kind of been like, what the hell?
Oh, mansplaining?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Sorry. 1,000%. And that is why I formed an all-female team. Very much so, and the scale of buildings that we're building, right? They're very large scale, mixed use. We're dealing with a lot of people, a lot of personalities. There's a lot happening on every project. And quite often, construction guys, they're little, we've had to do a lot of training with them. We have some GC teams that we just love, and they honor us, and they know that we know our SHIT. But then we run into the, guys that don't necessarily know who we are, and it's super frustrating. And I will say, I can put a little feather in my cap that I've actually had, GCs fired from a project because they were not professional. They were not treating us well. And they weren't delivering on the project. So I am not to be messed with.
I used to walk along the West Side Highway to work. I would pass the Javits Center, and near there, they were building the Hudson Yards, and they're building another little spot by the Javits Center. I noticed the construction workers were very different. They weren't catcalling. There were a lot more women that I saw possibly doing construction or GCs. It really shocked me, and it was so respectful. Even when I would walk by, oh, sorry, excuse me, I was like, they've had diversity and inclusion training. I know it. I'm sure of it.
And you know what, though? You're right. I think over the past 10 years, there has been a really dramatic change. I think diversity and inclusion training is happening. And thank God, because it was really rough when I first started, for sure.
Imagine. And you're originally from New York and you started school in New York. And tell me your education history. Like, were you an interior designer in design in beginning or much later?
This is my third career.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Most of my life, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. My parents said, you're very good at arguing. You'd be a great lawyer. So I went to school in upstate New York. I graduated with a pre-law degree. I got a job in Manhattan as a paralegal, a litigation paralegal at a very famous law firm. And I ended up with a team of 20 assistants, and I got published in the National Law Journal and blah, blah, blah. Like, all of the dreams were coming true. And I felt so empty and so lost in it. And I had kind of a midlife crisis, like at 21. I also graduated college early.
Wow. Okay.
A little bit type A, just a little.
Okay. Okay. Love it.
But my sister was also in New York with me, and she was going to school at Parsons, and she was always the artist, always drawing in her room, and she's incredible talent. And I always compared myself to her, and I thought, oh no, she's the artist, she's a creative one. Like, I'm the smart one.
Hey.
Yeah, well, no, it comes full circle, right? Because she was the smart one all along. And she invited me to take some classes at Parsons, and I ended up quitting my job at the law firm. I'm really tall. When you meet me, I'm a little bit taller than Brandon.
Okay. So we're twins.
Right? Yeah. But I started doing some runway. So I was in fashion, in New York, which is super fun.
It is. That's where I started. Yes.
I had a ball. I got to travel. I did shows. I did shows in Australia and London. But that quickly, wore out. You're 22, 23 years old, and you're an old lady. So I was desperate to kind of find my path, and my sister brought me to Parsons. I had Tim Gunn before there was Project Runway.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
Such a
I've
sweet
met him many times. He's lovely and brilliant man.
No,
Yes.
and I give him credit for my path into interior design, because I had a class with him, and I was majoring in fashion design. And he's like, what are you, he knew me from the shows. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I know that I don't want to do a collection every season. Like, this is going to kill me. I don't know what else to do. He's like, well, have you thought about interior design? And I was like, oh, you can make money doing that?
Yeah, lots.
He's like, go check out a school in Pasadena called Art Center.
Yes. Okay.
So he got me out of New York and got me to LA and into a program that was really fierce. I almost quit after the first semester, because I was like, oh, I know what art school is. I know what working hard is. Like, I worked at a law firm. Like, don't you tell me. And it was brutal. I mean, really, really, really challenging. But I got through it, and I graduated pretty much in 2008. So it was like sink or swim kind of. I had some internships and a small job leading up to that, but it really was, forming my company was really much, just diving in, like baptism.
You really did.
Yeah.
You really did. Wow. That's amazing. Tim Gunn. I've met him a few times, like I said, and he's special. He sees something and he'll plant the seed. And where you went to school, I have many friends that are photographers that went there, and they're amazing. They're amazing. So I know that the program there is very rigorous for artists. So, wow. I would love to hear about your website, where people can find you. And please hang out, because I love to do a round robin at the end. So let me know.
Yeah, you can find me at ariellefoxdesign.com and on Instagram.
Okay.
I love Instagram.
Okay, perfect. And Unboxing Flatly.
Unboxing Flatly, please check us out. Please, please, please. I would
love subscribe. Thank you so much. And we'll have you on towards the end. Thank you, Arielle. This was great. Thank you. Cool. We'll be right back, guys. Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Watch Ask for Candy with Candace Harper every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and Gratitude. Arielle Johnson, that was a great interview. She'll be back towards the end of the show. I'm excited to have Erica Winters and Luis Herrera, who are co-owners of Erica Winters Design, architect, interior design, builders. I want them to tell you about their restaurants in Mexico City, which I've had the pleasure of eating at. Their motorcycle enthusiasts, adventurers. So there's so much to talk about, so we're gonna dive right in. Please welcome Erica Winters and Luis Herrera. Thank you.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, thank you so much, D'Angelo.
Yes. So let's just dive in, guys. I was thinking about doing it separately, but then I thought, you know what? You own the business together. So let's talk about the flow of being in business as builders, designers, you know, not only here in the US, but on the East Coast, the West Coast, and Mexico City, and I'm sure other countries as well. Tell us, how do you do it? How do you do it?
Well, we first, thank goodness for airplanes. I would say that.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Right now we call it the triangle. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Triangle.
We're in a triangle where it started pretty much in Mexico City, where Eric and I met.
Yes.
Over 10 years ago. We met in one of a project that I did in Mexico. It was an apartment building.
Okay.
And Eric and I met there. And from that point on, we hit it off in terms of style, the design, art, and architecture. That's yes. Interest flowed very well. So from that point on, is where it began. We started doing projects in Mexico City, and then I had ties to Los Angeles, and a project came out in Los Angeles, and we started in LA. Erica moved to LA.
Okay.
And recently in the past year and a half, we ventured off into the New Jersey area where we're building a house.
It's some beautiful property, guys. I've seen some photos of the process, which we'll talk about in detail. Is it on the Jersey Shore where you're building?
Yes, this is down the Jersey Shore. Is about 60 miles south of New York City. Beautiful,
beautiful. So you met in Mexico City. Did you start dating right away, or did you just date a little bit later?
I think we became friends at first.
Yes,
right?
at the beginning we were friends, good friends actually. And then like a month and a half later, I mean, if you can call it fast, a month and a half, probably we'll start to dating.
It evolved into a relationship, which was very easy.
And natural.
It flowed very easy.
It was very natural. We didn't push anything.
We actually complete our own sentences.
I know, I see. You know, I know that both of you have a love of art, a love of travel, food, motorcycles. So how did you convince Erica to buy or motorcycle with you, Luis?
Well,
how did you convince her to buy?
It all began from the first day that we met.
Ah, okay. Erica, did you own a bike?
The first day that we met, it was I had a cocktail party at this apartment building that I had designed and built in Mexico City, and Erica was invited by a mutual friend to visit the project. And when we were there, we were just conversing. I gave her a tour of the project, and it so happened I was going to Los Angeles the following day, and Erica was going to visit Los Angeles within a week to visit her father, which lived in Orange County.
Okay. Wow.
So I told her, oh, this is great. When you come to Los Angeles, I'll take you around in my motorcycle. And she's like, oh, you have a motorcycle? I'm like, yes, I have a vintage BMW. And she's like, wow, I'm interested. And I'm like, yes, no Harleys, I told her.
And Erica, I know you've been in business since 1993, correct? Residential and commercial.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite properties that you've worked on?
Wow. Well, I worked in a property in Mexico. It was in a house in Colonia Roma.
Yes, I love that area.
It's beautiful. It's like very French style buildings. I love it. So this house was built in the late 800s, like 800s.
Wow. Okay.
Beautiful building. So this house was like very French style, like very English, like it was like 3 floors. Stacked. And oh my gosh, I just love that house so much because the client was very sweet to me.
Okay.
He asked me to do whatever I wanted to do, and
amazing.
I just want wallpaper.
Wow.
I want wallpaper because I love wallpaper. And at that moment, I knew that the style would be English, no doubt about it, because I love it. So I worked on that project. It became really, really nice. And at that time also, I was doing furniture, like upholstery, like repost furniture. Yes, like vintage kind of. So I did a lot of furniture for that project as well. So it was a combination of the pieces, the old pieces, plus the interior design, which came really nice. So that's one of my favorite projects.
That's beautiful. And Luis, what about you? What are some of your favorites? I've known you for 30 years. I want people to know this. I've known Luis. We met at Pratt Institute in Brooklyn.
Favorite project.
Good answer, Torres.
Well, life is a project.
Yes.
Life is a project to be good, to be successful, to be loving with your family, with your loved ones, with friends. Life is a project.
Yes, it is. It really is.
Erica has become a great part of my life.
Yes.
I'm so blessed for that.
And I know you've expanded beyond architecture, design. You own restaurants. Erica, I know you're working on a dinnerware line. Am I correct? Can I talk about that? The dinnerware collection that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm working in a dinnerware collection, yes.
Yes. So you guys are really like expanding outside of design and architecture. Tell me about your restaurant. Soli Roma is the one that I went to in Mexico City a few years ago.
Well, the restaurants emerged from an idea of having a cafe. That's where it began. And this idea of the motorcycle, the machine, which I've been infatuated since I was a young teenager. So it starts of having a cafe and bringing in the motorcycle as an object, as an art object.
And it is. It's beautiful.
I didn't want to make a motorcycle hangout. I wanted to bring in the lifestyle of motorcycling, of adventuring, of traveling in 2 wheels. And at the same time, bringing the history of the cafe racer that emerges from post-War War II in England, the airplane fighters.
Right.
Their adrenaline, they take it into these motorcycles that they custom build, and they
Right.
go from cafe to cafe racing under 59 seconds. So that passion for that, that's how we find this place in Mexico, which is in Roma, on a corner, and very small, and we rent it. And at the same time, within that week, we meet a chef that had just relocated back to Mexico from London.
Wow.
The chef, his name Roberto de la Parra, opens a restaurant in London, La Cantina, and he returns after being 3 years in London to Mexico. Wow. He has a motorcycle. His motorcycle breaks down. He goes to our shop, and he finds out that we're opening up a cafe. And he's like, wait a second.
He's your chef.
Can't be a cafe. I need to talk to these guys. It has to be a restaurant. So we meet with them, and we talk about Route 66, about comfort food. Comfort food well done.
Right.
Meaning taking attention to the details of the ingredients and then making this place different from any other. Where you can eat there with your family, you can eat there with your friends, and have a great time. And we have some motorcycle art, and we usually have 2 motorcycles built by us in the restaurant. And
I knew for me, it was just really, I was excited that you guys, it was your place, number one, and just seeing those beautiful motorcycles kind of suspended, like a piece of art. And the burger, let's talk about that burger.
Well, the burger is grass-fed, no antibiotics, the whole deal, and the meat is not from Mexico. The meat is from 44 farms out of
Okay.
We twirled that idea around very much because we wanted to give a good product. We wanted to offer a good product, and especially the chef, he's so rigorous in how to establish the menu. Erica participated also in the menu and creating new plates with the comfort food idea. A lot of bacon.
Yeah.
French fries.
I took a friend there, and we enjoyed it. We enjoyed it a lot. So, it's like, what inspires you? You both can answer this question. What inspires you?
Well, me, life itself. Like every day I wake up and I am very blessed to have everybody around my life, especially in these moments.
Yes.
The COVID.
Yes.
And I see that everybody is fine, and that really inspires me. And walking on the beach, we live like 3 blocks from the beach. We are very lucky.
Yes.
So that, for the beginning, it's like the most inspiring thing I have, besides my family, and that's pretty much.
Yeah. Louis?
Well, I get inspired all the time by many people, many situations. Every day is something different.
Yes.
I get inspired by my wife in terms of what I may do. I also get inspired by my peers. If I see somebody do an incredible house, well, that inspires me for me to go to that level.
Right.
So inspiration for me, I see it everywhere.
Yes.
In my daily life.
The topic of the show is design your best life. And I just listening to you guys, that's what I hear. You have and you are designing your best life. So for a novice, in interior design, any tips you can give anyone for their home during this time? For me, it was adding color into my home. When I got back during COVID, I was like, I need color around me. So I went yellow crazy. So any advice that you would give?
Well, yeah, especially this time, as you're saying, people is getting more attention to their area they live, the places.
Yes.
They read the environments, and they really see that they need help. They really want to change something, they don't feel comfortable, or they've been so busy working for so many years that they don't realize how the house was like abandoned or whatever.
Right,
so,
right.
Right. So yeah. So right now, like for me to give something to say about design is that you have to be comfortable in your house. Now things are changing. You need an area to be comfortable where you can work, like especially now that you are doing like a work home, like home. And the kids, especially that they are studying at home. So the needs are changing. So we need to get as interior designers, architects, I think we have a compromise with the society to bring different ways of living and a better way of develop our environment, our system of being together. Because also it's difficult that spend time so many times, so many hours a day around your family. You have to have your own areas, your own space. So I think the dynamic now is changing. Not in the houses, also outside. Like recently we designed this animal hospital in West.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we did a social distance compliance.
I saw that.
The waiting area. So even that, like now people it's kind of afraid to be too close to another people that really don't know, like and so given these areas to be in the same room, but at the same time, at least feel a little bit safer. I think it's very important.
Right. Wow.
Yes.
So, Louis, I know that you've been a professor, doing a little research. You've taught some at university. What would you tell young designers coming up, young architects? What would you say to them at this time in history? What advice would you give them?
I would give them the advice not to fall into fashion. In terms of, when I say fashion is not to follow what's fashionable in architecture and in style.
Yes.
That's what I mean by it. Nowadays, to study architecture, we have to be very conscious of who we are as people, as a culture.
Yes.
Just many things that involve that, which is the government, politics. It all comes down into how our urbanism is all laid out, or how our cities are laid out, pretty much.
Right.
So I would say to really understand your surroundings and let the surroundings guide you how to become an architecture that is really needed. Not just to build something for the sake of building or a form because it looks like a Frank Gehry building.
Right.
Let's say.
Right.
But that you do something that really affects the way the architecture, starting from the development of the design, from the floor plan to the layout to the aesthetics to how it affects others in the city. Right. How does it affect the street, the homeless, right? Because there's a sidewalk or there's a canopy. So all these things are really critical now of how we think of how architecture becomes. And now the main thing that's gearing architecture is technology.
That's true.
With new technologies, we're able to build more intricate forms or more spans in distance. So that we need to take into consideration. But when you bring all that back, there's also the money situation. And people say, wow, look at this opera house that was built. Yeah, that opera house cost $500 million.
Right.
So it's a conversation I've been having for the past couple of years about to build great architecture, you don't need $500 million.
Right.
What you need is to really understand what's needed. I mean, you could make a rectangular, simple box and give it meaning by how you do the apertures or how you do the entrance or how it responds to the street and to the other buildings.
The environment. Yeah. environment.
A public building, because that building is, if you slice it in half, it connects one street with another street. So there's so many obstacles that need to be studied when doing a building,
It's
or
amazing.
when laying out a city, or laying out a town, or even a suburban neighborhood.
Yes. Wow. Thank you, Professor.
Now you know
Guys,
why
hang on a minute. We're going to go to a commercial and we're going to come right back and continue to talk. And then we'll bring Arielle in as well. Okay? Just hang on. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Francesca Maxime and want to really invite you into a new conversation, which might feel a little bit uncomfortable to start. Inside Out with Natasha and Francesca, unpacking racism. Where did we get these ideas? Why are we in this white body supremacist society? What is it to be an embodied anti-racist? I'm with Dr. Natasha Stovall. Natasha, explain what you see in your therapy sessions and why you want to do this show.
I want to do this show, Francesca, because so many white people in my practice are asking, why is it that the world that we live in is so racist, but I don't feel racist? I'm not a racist. And even though I think that's a very sincere question, I think all white people now need to begin from a place of the world that we create is racist, whether we mean it to be or not. So how do we understand and start to change the ways that we have learned, whether it's something we're aware of learning, if anyone who taught us was aware that that's what they were teaching us, how can we help them stop practicing racism even when they don't feel racist? So that's
right.
Where we're starting from, and we're gonna go from there. And yeah, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but that's what therapy is all about, and that's what therapists are good at.
All right, Natasha, thank you. And everybody who wants to tune in, it's pretty much a show that's going to be about white-bodied folks and inquiries there. And certainly we'll be taking your questions, but anybody can tune in. It's going to be on Facebook Live Wednesdays at noon. We'll look forward to seeing you.
Welcome back to Beauty and Gratitude. We're here still with Arielle and Erica and Louis. So let's bring them all in. I want to talk to all of them at the same time. Yes. Cool. Thank you, guys. Louis and Erica, can you share your website, how people can reach you, YouTube, whatever?
Well, the website is ericawinterdesign@gmail.com.
Well, okay.
EricaWintersDesign.com.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, and of course, everything else is the same. Erica with a K. And
Okay.
Facebook is Erica Winters Design.
Okay.
Even Instagram is Erica
Okay.
Winters Design.
And then the restaurant, Soli Roma.
Soul Aroma, Soul
Yes,
Condesa, and Soul Lavanda.
So S-O-U-L. Like
S-O-U-L, yes, yes.
Soul.
So I can't wait to visit Mexico City again. I fell in love, guys. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And I've been to many, so it's coming from a very dear place. I love the people, the architecture, and the art. Even just the street art was beautiful. So there's a lot of culture there, and I wish more people would travel there and see it because it's pretty phenomenal. So
Yeah, it is.
yes.
Well, Mexico City is very rich in culture, like you said.
Yes, very much so.
There's many
Ancient culture and modern day culture, you know?
They have the three layers, right?
Yes.
It's called the three cultures, which is the pre-Columbian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Spaniards came,
Right.
and then
Mm-hmm.
modern.
Yes.
So I say that there's now a fourth layer being established.
Really?
New modern world. I mean, there's these high rises that are getting built in Mexico City, and Mexico City is built on a lake.
I know, which is amazing to me.
The city in itself is very fascinating. There's over 30 million people.
And it sinks a little bit, like every year it sinks.
Because the Aztecs, they built their pyramids on top of the lake with piles.
Right. Mm.
There's all these piles, and then the Spanish used it as foundations.
Exactly. Thinking.
So now it's sinking from time.
So, which is a good thing. You guys are architects, so there's business there, lots of it, to change it, to modernize it, you know? So, Arielle, so we all in LA, guys. What's on the horizon for each of you? I'll start with Arielle. Like, what are you currently working on, or what are you projected to do in the next few years?
So, also really quick, I'm in love with Mexico City.
Yeah.
I was supposed to actually take our entire team to do just an inspirational trip this year. And
wow.
It breaks my heart because obviously we couldn't do that. But when we get down there, we'd love to hit you guys up and see your version of the city. Like, it's such an amazing place.
It really is. It really is.
But to answer your question, D'Angelo, you know, we're working on completing a bunch of projects. We're probably one of the only interior design firms in LA that has a restaurant project right now.
Oh, wow.
We were charged, with redesigning the Tax restaurants, French restaurant in Echo Park. So it's kind of the 3.0 version. We had a great meeting this morning, actually very early on in the morning, wrapping up the design in there. So continuing with more multifamily. We're doing high-end residential. Things have slowed down a little bit, which in a way has been great because I have been able to focus on unboxing flat lay. So we're ready. A new year. We're ready for 2021 already.
You can say that again. Those are Halloween hands. Louis and Erica, what are you guys working on currently or in the near future?
We're doing this house in New Jersey, which is beautiful. And Louis really is an artist. I mean, I'm stunned with the result of the house. It's so beautiful. And it's because it's located in the canals, right?
Right.
House
in Point Pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
The house is almost completed.
Okay.
Finished by the end of the month.
So beautiful.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was about a year, no? You've been working on it for about a year, guys?
About a
it's
year.
Really beautiful. It's so my style.
Everything slowed down because of the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But we able to jumpstart it like 3 months ago.
Okay.
Now we're wrapping it up. But on the board, we have a couple of projects. We have one house that's already in plan check that we're going to be building in Sherman Oaks in the valley.
Wonderful.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, on Hesby Street.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And we also we just got plans approved for a house in Joshua Tree.
Oh, you were telling me about that. Yes.
Beautiful house.
We're doing a small retreat home in the desert.
Beautiful.
For 1 of ours.
Okay.
And you have a few projects. Erica's doing the dishware.
Yes.
Yes.
Dishware, and also I'm designing rugs. So you know that, and the design is coming really, really nice. And I'm doing some collaborations as well with No King Official.
Okay.
You know.
Of course,
yes. Official is a brand out of Mexico City, and we're partners in that. And we're just doing it's urban outwear.
Yes, I see that it's growing and expanding too. I love the mask and I love the fabrics. So I want to buy some, guys. So I need a link for that. And Brian had a question for you guys. What do you think about the new construction of the Notre Dame? You know, all the new construction after the fire. Do you love it, or how do you feel about it?
Well, it can get very controversial. Everyone's gonna have an opinion.
Yes, yes.
You know, it was awful what happened.
Yeah.
And now to take that iconic building of Paris and be able to do something to it. I mean, I would have loved to do some intervention to the building.
Right.
And I think to do to rebuild it exactly how it was wouldn't. I mean, we're in a different period of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's already history. Yeah, there was a fire, so this is post-fire.
Right.
Now
So
it has to be something totally different.
I see it totally different. I would like
really a renaissance. A renaissance of sorts, you know? Like it represents the renaissance, that fire, and like you're building something new, hopefully something innovative and not the same. You're right, Louis, you're right.
I would really like to see something like extraordinary done on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
That's completely different, or glass, or with the structure very
Or
light.
green.
Pardon?
Yeah, or even green, a garden, you know, where people can walk amongst it. Arielle, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It was such a tragedy. And it's interesting because you can't ever repeat, you know, what has happened. You can't ever completely replicate. So, you know, I echo that sentiment. You know, you kind of get into a little bit of like the Disneyland territory when you're trying to like recreate something that's not authentic for the time. So yeah, it's a tricky thing for sure.
Tricky, and it's
You
a lot
know,
of different points of view. So
yes. You know, guys, thank you so much. I'm always drawn to architects and interior designers. For many years, that's all I was dating. I would meet an architect. I'm like, what is going on? And I think because as an artist, as a makeup artist, you know, in fashion, in film and television, we're aesthetically drawn to similar things, you know, and the historical references to similar things. So I appreciate each and every one of you and your vision that you bring into the world. And tell me what you're grateful for. One at a time. Okay. Arielle?
Sure, I'll go first. I am grateful for my health,
Yes.
my family,
yes.
for the ability to keep creating. You know, that is something that I keep pulling out of me, you know, when I struggle, is no matter what, that has been my gift, is I can still create.
Yes.
No matter what happens.
Always figure it out. Which is right behind you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Louis and Erica, talk about gratitude. Tell me what you're most grateful for.
well, I'm grateful because I really, right now I am what I wanted to be, with a good man by my side, supporting
Yes.
him. I think that it's really hard to find in time.
Yes.
It is. And now, anyhow. And I'm also grateful because, as Arielle said, we are creatives. I mean, we can wake up every day and have new ideas and be avant-garde all the time, you know, like trying to reach different things, and it doesn't die. It just grows and grows and grows.
It feels good, right? It feels good. Yes. Louis.
Well, I'm very grateful for my health. I'm grateful for having my parents still alive at the age. I was in a bad accident back in February, and my mom. I was in a bad car accident with my mother, and it was a close to death situation.
Oh my God.
Okay. And I'm so grateful this year being able to survive that, and for my mother to be able to survive and to recuperate is really amazing.
Yes.
So this time with COVID, being at home, trying to work from home, I am so grateful that I'm able to have my parents, to have my wife and my partner together, my family from Mexico, I'm so grateful for.
Kids.
Yes.
Our kids that love us very much. I'm very grateful for all my friends.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful right now for my clients because they give me the trust to make them their home.
Right.
I put everything into it. I put my heart and soul into my work.
Yes.
And when clients respond back with gratitude, I'm so grateful for that. It's the best.
Wow.
So for me, my vocation as an architect, I call it a vocation because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
People ask me, who am I? What do I do? I'm an architect, period.
Right.
I'm not an artist. I'm not a motorcyclist. I'm an architect. I create space. And to do it for my clients and for them to be so happy is what I'm most grateful for.
Yeah, I think so.
The things I can keep going. If you
can. Yeah, and that's the point, Louis. That's the point. The reason I'm doing this show and I wrote the book and everything, guys, that's the point, is an affinity of gratitude. You know, you have an affinity of gratitude. So that's what I really want to get to, everybody. And I appreciate each and every one of you. You know, Louis, I've known you a long time. You've always been kind. And then you introduced me to your wonderful wife, who's amazing. Arielle, we're going to hang very soon. And guys, thank you so much. I'm grateful for each of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want to say this, guys. Whoever wants to win this bag, you should, log in, send us an email, beauty and gratitude. I appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. Good night. Thank you.
Solivity Magazine brings you the best in inspiration on Solivity TV. Check out our new shows. Mark your calendars for Solivity Magazine shows by going to